There are powers on Earth too hidden to be seen, and conspiracies too vast to comprehend. For years, the world has seen fact distorted, reality manipulated, and the truth concealed. Join the PIERRE SABAK podcast to uncover the real meanings behind ancient aliens and their symbolism.
Hi, this is PIERRE SABAK, unlocking the keys to the mysteries. Now today I'm going to be talking about the Karin. The Karin in Arabic is translated as a constant companion. Now I translate the word as a familiar spirit because the Karin can really be understood to be a type of familiar. This is a type of spirit or a jinn which accompanies an individual. Now today I'm going to be arguing that the Karin are actually related to the angelic sailors, and I'm going to try and be showing you this relationship between the Karin and the Elohim, in particular the Elohim and the angelic sailors or the host. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Karin, and we're going to look at the relationship between the Karin and the Hebrew word for the Karin, which is translated as kava, which is a type of companion. Now this is really important to understand because the viewpoint that the jinn and the angel are one is a perspective which is highlighted particularly within Semitic glossaries, and I want to try and really show this and demonstrate this today. So first of all, if we look at the Hebrew word kava, which is a companion, we can see that there is a close cognate in the Hebrew with the noun kovel, which is a sailor. Now in the Old Semitic, kovel would have had a connotation of the angelic host, and we know this to be true because of obviously the end of the word, the suffix at the end of kovel, el, is a type of deity. Now the Hebrew word kovel, which is a sailor, is very closely related to the Old Semitic word kaba, which is a messenger. Now a messenger is really a type of angel, so once again we're seeing that there is this relationship between a sailor and an angel. As we said before, kovel, a sailor, and the Old Semitic term kaba, a messenger, which can really be understood in this context to be an angel. We would see the same wordplay also within the Hebrew and the Arabic word of malak, an angel, which is a polyformal word of malak, which is a sailor. Now kaba, which is a messenger or an angel, is a derivative from the Arabic stem haba, which is message or news. So obviously this is to convey a message or to convey news. So when we look at the Karin and we look at the deconstruction of the Karin, we can argue that there is a close cognate between the Elohim and in particular the idea of an angelic sailor. And as we've said before, the watchers are very closely related to the angelic sailors. So for example, there's a relationship between the Hebrew word sophef, which is a watcher. It gets rendered in the Arabic as shaf, which is to see. So there's a relationship between sophef, a watcher, and seraph, which is a non-human angel or a seraph. Now there is also a relationship between Karin, which is a type of companion spirit, as we translated this as a familiar, and the relationship between Erin, which is a type of watcher. Now I'm arguing here therefore that the Karin is really a type of watcher, and therefore the word Karin is closely related to Erin, which is a type of watcher, and the Elohim or the Elohim, which are the high ones or the deities. Now so there is therefore this if you like, this cognate between Karin and this idea that they're connected to the Elakhe, which is a high creature. Now the Elakhe are dematerialized as the Ru'akh or the high spirits. Now if we take the Arabic word Karin, which is a companion, and we render that similarly within the Hebrew, we get kava, which is a companion, and this is a close cognate of kovel, which is a sailor, which I've argued is actually related to an angelic sailor. So if we're going to summarize this very shortly, we can say that kava, a companion, it's a close synonym of kovel, which is a sailor. And so we can deduce therefore that this is really referring to an angelic emissary, which we find within the Old Semitic word kaba, a messenger. And this literally means one who enumerates. Now kaba is really based upon an undisclosed tradition. So therefore we can see that there is this relationship between kaba, which is a messenger, and the Hebrew verb lakabel, to receive. Now this is an oral tradition, and we can see that there is this relationship between kaba, which is to hide or to conceal. So this is really a concealed tradition. So here we can see then that the word associations, it very much suggests a closed discourse, and this knowledge can be epitomized as the classical or naval tradition. As I've maintained in my previous videos, classical relates to a classified tradition from classis, which is a naval fleet. The naval fleet is connotes in this respect a class of individual which is related to a noble bloodline. So there is this relationship between naval and noble, hence the cognate between nobilis, which is one who knows. So there is then this relationship, if you like, between the angelic sailor and their companion hosts. And this is very interesting, because when you look at a companion of spirits, you can also say that they are related to the hosts or a company of sailors. And I think that this is very important to understand this. So once again, I think it's also necessary for us to point out that when we take the Arabic word karin, which is a type of companion spirit or a familiar, a type of jinn, there is this relationship between karin and erin, which are the watchers, and the Elohim, which are the high ones. So the jinn are very closely related to the angelic host, and indeed the angelic host are often translated as the high spirits, the Ru'akh Elohim. Now again, within Hebrew there is this close alignment between kava, which is the Hebrew word for a companion, and kaba, which is an angel, literally one who enumerates. But this is based upon a compound pun, because kaba, which is one who enumerates, or a messenger, hence an angel, is based upon the Old Semitic word ka-ba. And this is a son of a star. So in this respect we can see that there is this relationship between kaba, which is an emissary, kovel, which is a sailor, and kava, which is a companion, which can really be understood in the Old Semitic to be a type of companion spirit or a type of familiar. So if we're going to sum up this, then we see that there is this relationship between kava, which is a companion, kaba, which is a messenger. As we said before, this is connoting an angel, kovel, which is a sailor, and also we're seeing that there is this relationship also with habaru, which is a migrant, where we would get the word Hebrew. Now the connotation here is that the Hebrews are somehow related to the angelic sailors, and this is why they are considered to be a special bloodline. So, and this really does refer to the tying together of heaven and earth, hence the relationship between kaba, which is a messenger. As we said before, it's a compound pun on kaba, which is a son of a star, and also the Hebrew verb lakaba, which is to tie or to join. So there is this, if you like, relationship, and the idea of tying or joining together is really found within the symbolism of the Ophanim wheels. Now the Ophanim are used within the Bible and the Apocrypha as an angelic carrier, so they are equated or associated with the angels, and they are typically represented as interlinking cogs. So there is this relationship between the angelic sailors and the tying together of this tradition. So if we move on then, we can say also, which is very interesting, that there's also etymological associations between kaba, which is a messenger or an angel, but also kab, which is a coil within Arabic, and in the Old Semitic word keb, which is a serpent. Now all these word plays or word associations are really identified astrologically with al-kalb, which is the dog star. But again, we're seeing that there are these polyglottal word plays. So for example, if we rendered the Arabic word kabar, a messenger or an angel, and kab a coil and keb a serpent, if we show these in the Hebrew, we see that there's a relationship between kavar, a companion, and epher, an asp. Now again, these word associations are really going back into the idea of the angelic host, in particular to the seraphim, who are deemed as watchers and are typically identified with the jinn, because the Hebrew word seraphim is typically rendered by the Arabic translators as a type of jinn. So certainly within the older traditions there is this close relationship between the angelic messengers and the jinn, or the spirits, the Ru'akh Elohim, the high spirits. So I think it's useful here just to summarize the vocabulary that we've looked at already, and just try and draw a few conclusions from what we've actually been talking about today. So we can say that the angelic sailors, that they're crew members of heavenly vessels. We can also say that the angelic sailors are very much tied together in the symbolism with the jinn or the spirits, and again these spirits would be identified with the Elohim, hence this relationship between the Elakeh, which is a high creature, and their dematerialization as the Ru'akh Elohim, which are the high spirits. So if we look at the etymology of the Karin, which is a companion or a familiar spirit, we see that there is this relationship between the Karin and Erin, which is a watcher, and also the Elohim, or which is a watcher in the singular. So now, for us to summarize the Hebrew etymology of kava, which is a companion. So there is this close cognate between kava, which is a companion, kovel, which is a sailor, kaba, which is an emissary. So this would connote in the Old Semitic an angel, but in particular the etymology is coming from the word of one who enumerates, and is related to the etymology of haba, which is news within the Arabic. So there is this relationship between kaba, which is this emissary or this angel, and then kaba, which is this compound pun on the Old Semitic word, which is a son of a star. So in this respect, the angels are seen to be a son of a star. Now we can say specifically the angels are identified with al-kalb, the dog star, which would be identified with kabir, which would be a lordship. In this respect, this is identified with an angelic sailor, or kabir, kaba, which is a son of a star, or kaba, which is an emissary, and kovel, which is a sailor. Now kabir, a lord, is correlated very closely with al-kalb, the dog star. This is a secret tradition, and again is related to the angelic wheels, or the opening wheels, which are tied together, hence lakaba, which is tie or to join together. And this is a hidden tradition, because this is really referring to the scatological tradition, the study of angelic boats or vessels within ancient religions and mythology. So therefore lakaba, to tie or to join together, is related to this concealed tradition, hence kaba, which is to hide or to conceal. And again we can say that the word kaba is clayleptical, because in the Arabic the word jinn, which is a type of spirit, is related to jana, which is to hide or to conceal. So in this respect we can say that kaba, which is a son of a star, or kaba, which is an emissary or an angel, is tied in once again to this concealed tradition, kaba, and this concealed tradition is related to the Ru'akh Elohim, the high spirits, which can be understood to be a type of jinn or jana, which is to hide or to conceal. So essentially we can show that the Karin familiars and the etymology of Erin, which is a watcher, and the Elohim, when we render this into the Hebrew etymologies, we can see that they are very closely related to the companion spirits, in particular in the Old Semitic kava, which would be a type of companion related to kovel, which is a sailor. And these sailors therefore are related to al-kalb, which are the dog star. And so we can see that they in an original context, that they are related to different star systems. And again, we're seeing that this relationship is also found with the seraphim as well. Sophia for watcher, seraph, which is a flaming seraph, from Serapha, which is fire. Now, fire in this context is a marker or an astrological signifier of Sirah, which is the Arabic word for Sirius. Again, it's a diptych paranomasia on Sirah, on the Hebrew word, which is a boat. But we're seeing that there is, if you like, this relationship between the seraphim, the watchers, and the shining ones, because again, the word Erin, which is a watcher or a shining one, and again, Sophia for watcher is related to Serapha, fire, and seraph. Now, these are all pointing to or appertaining to the jinn, those who are born of fire. Hence this connection between the Ru'akh Elohim and their spiritual hosts, which are deemed to be a company of sailors, hence a companion spirit. And these spirits are identified with the star system Sirius. Okay, I think that's basically what I wanted to say about the Karen, but in particular their relationship to the angelic sailors, and how the Karen actually fit in with the angelic sailors and the Elohim, who are correlated with the star system Sirius. If you've enjoyed this video, then please pass them around. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It's great to be back again and to be talking again. This is Pierre Sabak. Let's try and make this a better world. Thank you very much.